So, folks, we gotta talk about Iran because Donald Trump has essentially kicked the hornet's nest and is now trying to desperately push all of the bees and hornets back into the nest. I know bees and hornets don't generally live in the same nest, but roll with me here for this deeply flawed analogy. So, where are we at with Iran? Well, as of about an hour ago, South Korea is freaking out because it turns out, and you guys might not believe this, um, it takes like oil in order for countries to ship their goods across the ocean. This might be a new concept to some of you, but essentially, a lot of these shipping vessels rely on oil to power their engines so that they can go. Now, there's a big problem here for a lot of countries in that part of the world because since Iran is choking off the Strait of Hormuz, uh, through which 20% of the world's crude oil flows, well, turns out places like Japan and South Korea that do not have massive stockpiles of uh, oil are now scrambling to figure out how they can get oil so that their entire economy can continue to function instead of their boats just not working anymore. And when we hit this point, this is when this is when like the world economy starts developing a hitch in its giddy up, as it were. And it is going to be one of those things where America and Americans in general are just going to generally shrug at this development without really realizing that downstream of like South Korea not being able to export things and Japan not being able to export things, that's going to affect us here. Like, it's not a problem that is relegated to the other side of the planet and is going to stay isolated there. Disrupting the supply chain is going to basically screw everything up everywhere all the time for the foreseeable future. I mean, like, everything from machine parts for, your local factory to, computer components, everything. If shipping stops, those things stop too. All right. Suddenly, we are cut off from a lot of very important supplies. Do you think countries will resort to green energy? If this conflict does draw on, which it looks increasingly likely to do, there is a good possibility that countries will start shifting far more rapidly over to green energy. There is a world in which, oil hitting $200 a barrel could be a catalyst for a mass adoption of green energy. And that's great, but also understand that a mass adoption of green energy like that would take time. Like, you can't just pull all of the solar panels you need out of your ass in order to make that happen overnight. Like, it has to be manufactured, it has to be installed, it has to be connected to the grid. Like, and then it has like you have to figure out locations for these solar panels. You have to figure out how to retrofit cars with like battery tech, and like it's not impossible, but like we're talking like a multi-year plan that could take anywhere from 5 to 10 years. And like a lot of people are hoping, a lot of people can't just like pause. You can't just like pause the global economy for 5 to 10 years, Like, it is going to go really, really sideways if that is the resort here. It's going to make the inflation that came with COVID look like a teeny tiny hiccup. Yeah. It's gonna get a lot worse here. Gas prices in the United States are relatively protected from where they are elsewhere in the world, but that is only going to be for a limited amount of time, especially considering the fact that Donald Trump is really, really realizing today that he fucked up. That he fucked up with Iran. because he thought he was just going to go in. It was going to be a quick little thing. They'd have a revolution, then he'd get out, right? Then it's their problem again. But that is not at all what happened. And literally anyone who has studied Iran ever would have told him that this is not what is going to happen. They are not going to have just a cheery little revolution after you kill the leadership. That's just not how Iran is structured. And, well, he put out a message on Truth Social about 4 hours ago now. Here it is. Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the hull has been hit. The United States knew nothing about this particular attack, and the country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this, or any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the South Pars attack, and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's LNG gas facility. No more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field, unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help or consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long-term implications that it will have on the future of Iran, but if Qatar's LNG is attacked again, I will not hesitate to do so. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, to elaborate on this here, Israel attacked an oil field, a pretty significant one in Iran. Essentially, the unstated and unenforced agreement that has kind of been propped up by both these countries is that it's kind of a tit for tat when it comes to oil. And when it comes to these gas fields and like infrastructure for extracting oil, that infrastructure is very expensive. Again, if you light an oil field on fire, it can rapidly become uncontainable. It's kind of like one of those things where it is often irreversible in the short term, right? And so essentially what happened here, Israel hit this oil field, and over the last several days, Trump has been messaging essentially like, we're gonna bomb the hell out of Iran, but not the oil fields, not the oil infrastructure. Israel, stop bombing the oil infrastructure. It's very important that you stop doing that, because again, Donald Trump wants to de-escalate this and figure out a way to get out. And if the oil fields get exploded, so too goes any kind of ending this relatively soon. Like, if the oil fields get successfully attacked and burned, and liquefied natural gas, yes, okay, fuck, we're not just talking about oil fields, we're talking about liquefied natural gas as well. Thank you. I'm really frustrated right now. I'm trying my best. I'm talking about the oil fields that got hit by Israel. But if the oil fields, oil infrastructure, liquefied natural gas infrastructure, etc., get hit, this effectively goes the region. Like, there isn't going to be a ready solution to this conflict. It's just going to be essentially a free-for-all, where Iran has mutually assured destruction with all of the oil and gas infrastructure in the area, and they are going to exact that price. Because again, the only deterrent they have is access to those fields, access to that natural resource that the entire global economy runs on, and they have to show that they are willing to blow that shit up in order to try and, like, stave off any future attacks on the country. You know, they're going to exact the price for this. And so it's worth noting that basically in every war game run related to Iran, short of a full-on air, sea, and ground invasion of Iran, the Iranian regime remains standing. You can bomb all kinds of different shit in Iran. You're not going to be able to destroy their government. You're not going to be able to destroy their military, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So the point is that Iran is striking different oil infrastructure and gas infrastructure. For those of you who want to really be pedantic about this, they're striking both types of infrastructure in response to any of the strikes on their oil and gas infrastructure. The issue here is that when we are talking about this is going to be the kind of thing that there's no off-ramp from, right? That this is going to be something where it's just going to keep going back and forth, escalating and escalating. And what you see right now is different countries expelling Iranian foreign ministers in the Gulf because, hey, guess what? Saudi Arabia has a military too. And all of these surrounding countries, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, they have militaries that they can field. Okay? And so one of the things that they are going to be doing here is potentially attacking and invading, trying to bite off pieces of Iran as well. And this is just going to become one of the biggest clusterfucks we've ever seen geopolitically. Okay? I was saying that the point Trump is making is trash because they didn't know any oil facilities. They didn't strike any oil facilities until theirs was struck. Trump isn't even disputing that point, though. Like, Trump is saying, well, they didn't know about it, but they did strike gas facilities after theirs was struck. Like, he's doing it in the stupidest way possible, but his timeline of events is not wrong at this point, okay? Essentially, we are in, like, this cycle of violence. There's no off-ramp from it at this point, because Donald Trump keeps saying, well, and if you do keep retaliating, I'm gonna blow up all the oil fields anyway. So, like, it's just there's no off ramp at this point. There's no adult in the room to reel him in. There's no one who is sane to tell him, hey, things are like, this is how you cool things down with Iran. That, like, the people he sent to negotiate, his dipshit son-in-law and his dipshit friend, didn't understand what the Iranian negotiators were even talking about, and they triggered this war. Okay, like, we are seeing the escalation of a regional war. And when this damage begins hitting $200 a barrel, then we are going to start seeing, like, global damage being exacted. And the thing is, Iran doesn't even need to use that much military power to close the Strait of Hormuz. They just have to have a plausible risk for any of those ships going through, which they are able quite easily to maintain, right? And, gone are the days where Donald Trump is trying to say, hey, we did this to, like, strike their nuclear abilities. I wanted to play this clip from Congress earlier today of John Ossoff cross-examining Tulsi Gabbard. Let's take a listen to this real quick.
Under the law, you are responsible for providing national intelligence to the president, correct?
Yes.
And to the heads of executive branch departments and agencies, yes?
Yes.
And to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and senior military commanders?
Across the IC, yes.
And to the Senate and the House and relevant committees, correct?
Yes.
And the law states that the national intelligence you provide to Congress, quote, should be timely, objective, and independent of political considerations, correct?
Yes.
And you noted in your opening statement you're here fulfilling a statutory responsibility and that your testimony, quote, represents the IC's assessment of threats,
That's right.
Correct? That opening statement, as submitted to the committee in advance of this hearing, stated that as a result of last summer's airstrikes, quote, Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated, end quote, correct?
That's right.
And is that in fact the assessment of the intelligence community?
Yes.
So the assessment of the intelligence community is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated by last summer's airstrikes.
Yes.
In the opening statement you submitted to the committee last night also stated, quote, there has been no effort since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability, end quote, correct?
That's right.
And that's the assessment of the intelligence community.
Yes.
The White House stated on March 1st of this year that this war was launched and was, quote, a military campaign to eliminate the imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, end quote. That's a statement from the White House. Quote, the imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime. Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was an imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime?
The intelligence community assessed that Iran maintained the intention to rebuild and to continue to grow their nuclear enrichment capability.
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False. This is the worldwide threats hearing where you present to Congress national intelligence, timely, objective, and independent of political considerations. You've stated today that the intelligence community's assessment is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated and that, quote, there had been no efforts since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability. Was it the intelligence community's assessment that nevertheless, despite this obliteration, there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime? Yes or no?
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
Okay.
That is up to
Here's
the president
the problem.
based on a volume of information
it is precisely
that he receives.
It is precisely your responsibility to determine what constitutes a threat to the United States. This is the worldwide threats hearing.
Like, honestly, masterfully done. Masterfully done. Like, on his own. We all knew, like, the nuclear excuse was complete and utter bullshit from the get-go, but, like, John Ossoff helped really put the tombstone on that entire argument. But, you know, this conflict, you know how I was talking about how it is spiraling out of control, it's getting bigger and bigger? Well, one of the ways that we haven't talked about a ton thus far is the fact that, hey, Israel is invading Lebanon. Like, I don't know why this isn't being talked about more in U.S. press. I don't really get the amount of cover that is given by mainstream news networks here in the United States. But Israel is just straight up invading another country while, like, engaged in a bombing campaign against Iran. For those who haven't really been paying attention to what's going on in Lebanon, they have effectively done a mass ethnic cleansing of the entirety of southern Lebanon. Hundreds of thousands of people displaced. Again, this is being done supposedly to root out Hezbollah from Lebanon. And it has included bombing campaigns against Lebanon's capital. It's awful so far. According to Lebanon, almost 1,000 people have died, including over 100 children. It's like it is expanding outward from Israel, and it does really seem like this is all part of a massive land grab that Israel and Netanyahu are trying to do, like part of their rebuilding of the Greater Israel project that Netanyahu has personally endorsed and talked about, you know? And so this is all going real bad. And like we start looking at all these other countries that are arming up, that are mobilizing their militaries. The possibility here for essentially the entire Middle East to become a world war is intensifying. Let's just take a look at what Republicans are talking about in Congress these days.
It's been an extraordinarily successful campaign over the last couple of weeks. Our military objectives are being accomplished day after day. It's a methodical and deliberate effort because it's a very big country with a lot of weapons. But anyone who says that we're already losing or we're in a quagmire or the president can't succeed because of the threat that Iran poses to the Hormuz right now is akin to saying Eisenhower is losing because he hadn't made it to Berlin within 2 weeks of D-Day. It's going to take some time to achieve those military objectives. But in the end, we will have defanged the Iranian regime. Their missile, it's been...
I love how all the Republicans are like, it's totally not a war, but how dare you criticize Donald Trump? That's like criticizing insert general from the global war that happened last century. Like, it's not a war, but we're comparing it to World War II. What? What the hell are you talking about? Don't objectives have to usually be stated beforehand? Yes, they do. Also, boy howdy, that is a really bad idea if you want to make that comparison. Like, if your comparison is, well, this isn't like World War II, like, I mean, come on, give it some time, and then it will be like World War II. I feel like you're saying the quiet part out loud of this being effectively the opening salvos of World War III. And that should give everybody in the room pause, but Republicans just don't give a fuck anymore. They're like, yeah, what? So what if we get into World War III? I'm still gonna get my treats, aren't I? All of my tasty treats. And it's like, no, you're not gonna get your tasty treats. Like, oil prices are gonna shut down the fucking ability for you to get tasty treats. Like, I mean, not to mention the fact that this is being run by a guy whose brain is leaking out of his ears.
Yeah. If Iran, as you said, totally obliterated, got the missiles, got the first 2 rounds of leadership, Air Force gone, Navy gone, can we wrap this war up this week?
Yeah, sure. Good.
Will we?
I don't think so, but it'll be soon. Won't be long. And we're going to have a much safer world when it's wrapped up. It'll be wrapped up soon. We're going to have a much safer world. I had an obligation to do this. I didn't want to, I call it an excursion. I didn't want to, yeah.
Oh, it's not a war, it's an excursion. It's an excursion, everybody. It's not World War III, it's just an excursion. He's not lucid? Yeah, I mean, he's repeating sentences over and over again. He's like, fucking, I mean, guys, he's having to prop himself up with his arms in his chair. Like, he can't even keep himself up straight. This is the guy that you want leading us into World War III for literally no reason at all? It's super frustrating. You know? We have multiple wars of conquest now in the world. Does that mean we're already in a world war? I mean, if this escalates to being a wide-scale regional war, which it looks like it is going to, yeah. One could very easily call this a world war. And, I just have to say, at least there are a couple Democrats who are saying that they're going to do something about this or that they're going to deny more funding, but like,
Senator, I want to talk about the cost of the war. It's cost more than $11 billion in its first 6 days. Now, some of your Senate Democratic colleagues have said they are open to reviewing requests for additional funds, arguing it may be necessary for overall military readiness. Would you consider voting for or approving more funding for the military during this conflict?
No, the military has all the funding it needs for this conflict, unless this conflict goes on for years. There was an extra $150 billion for the military in the big ugly bill that passed last year. So the Pentagon has all the resources that it can use in the current conflict. Now, the future is something different, and we'll have to figure out what the future needs of the military are, because we're depleting so many of the stocks of the military, another huge cost of the war. But let's think about what is being lost right now, and that is all of these billions, this $11 billion just within the first few days, That's money that could have gone into new hospitals and new schools. It could have gone into health care for people. It could have gone into meeting the needs of the American people. A hospital costs about $100 million. That means that if we're spending $1 billion a day in Iran, we're effectively dropping 10 hospitals a day on Iran and destroying the potential we would have had to make that kind of investment in our country. That's money we're never going to get back. So the Pentagon doesn't need more money right now for this war. It doesn't need to open pipelines off the California coast. And by the way, Kristen, that was something the administration was pushing even before the war. So they're just using this now as a pretext to try to open pipelines that have resulted in terrible spills in California. This is the cost, the human cost of this mistake by the president to bring us to war again.
Like, okay, Democrats, I'm really glad that you're at the very least not on board with voting for more funds for this insanity. But like, why even be like, the military has all it needs right now? Like honestly, like, I feel like the messaging is just wrong. The messaging is just absolutely fucked on this. Like, Democrats should be screaming from the rooftops that this deranged lunatic, this insane simpleton, is leading us into and starting a global catastrophe, a global war. Like, get mad about it, talk about it, and message about it like it's a fucking big deal, because people need to be told it's a big deal.
That's billion with a B. Never ever let them tell us that there's not enough money for our social programs ever again.
Yup. Why are they being this weak? Because right now, it is still business as usual for these people, right? It is still business as usual for Chuck Schumer, for Hakeem Jeffries, etc. Like, they haven't actually been materially impacted by this at all. At all. And, well, Adam Schiff is paid not to be mad about this war. Adam Schiff does take some donos from, I think, J Street. He might also take it from AIPAC. But, like, again, a lot of the issue here is just, like, all these guys are heavily incentivized to keep acting like it is just business as usual, you know? And they're not going to move until, like, mass public pressure makes them move. It's deeply, deeply frustrating. And I am really worried that the only way mass public pressure is going to move them to do anything about this is through two mechanisms. One, gasoline prices going to like $8 a gallon. Okay? Like, gas prices going up to like insane levels when oil hits like $200 a barrel. That might do it. That might catalyze some action on the part of Congress, both Republican and Democrat. But the other one is going to be running out of interceptors, running out of anti-air defense ammunition, and then damage reports and news stories beginning to proliferate about members of the military being killed, installations in the Middle East being blown up, embassies being destroyed, etc. Like, it is... Those are the two things. Those are the two things that are really going to catalyze even more support against the current administration, right? And when I say, like, these two things could happen, I think they could happen a lot sooner than some people realize, okay? This is footage from CNN from about 2 days ago of the embassy in Baghdad. Massive explosion.
وقعت عبر استعجل عبرت
So, like, basically every American installation in the Middle East is getting attacked right now. And they are, like, I gotta tell you, like, I'm not an expert on, you know, military ammunition or anything like that, but I can tell you that seeing that amount of fire from an embassy is not sustainable cost-wise. They do not have a ton of ammunition in that regard, all right? And, well, it turns out, keep in mind, I just showed you footage of the embassy in Baghdad. Well, here is footage, apparently from a FPV drone operated by Iranian-backed militias, flying freely and uncontestedly over the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. And that is from roughly a day or two ago. And I should let you know that this is really fucking bad news for basically all American military and diplomatic establishments throughout the Middle East. If we are already at the point where Iranian-backed militias can fly these drones over American embassies, we're in really bad shape. Like, the amount of damage that could be done is huge. And what a lot of people aren't really realizing here is that there's been a colossal technological shift that has happened. I would say maybe akin to when, you know, the Spanish galleons got outmaneuvered by smaller, more maneuverable and faster vessels that were able to, like, you know, go around them and avoid the gunfire from the Spanish galleons. That's kind of what's happening here, because drones are really cheap, and they're easy to mass produce, and they're easy to weaponize. And basically what has happened here is that it kind of seems like, and again, I'm just a humble country streamer here, but, like, kind of seems like the United States is still stuck, at least under Donald Trump, idolizing gigantic warships and aircraft carriers and whatnot. And, well, that might not really be the most useful thing in modern warfare anymore. And so we're in, like, an entirely new territory here where, honestly, it kind of seems like the United States is just like brought a one-shot bazooka to a fight against, you know, 1,000 guys with sticks. You know, like, the bazooka could be pretty effective, but it's not gonna blow up all the guys with sticks. You know, like, that's you can cause some damage with the bazooka, but the guys with sticks are gonna beat you. All right. And one thing I would just like to point out is, speaking of aircraft carriers and big ships, this is an article from 2 days ago in the New York Times. Fire on U.S. aircraft carrier raged for hours, sailors say. The Ford is now entering its 10th month of deployment after arriving in the Middle East from the Caribbean. It took more than 30 hours for sailors to put out the fire aboard the aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford last week, sailors and military officials said, as the beleaguered ship continues its months-long slog through President Trump's military operations. The fire started in the ship's main laundry area last Thursday. By the time it was over, more than 600 sailors and crew members had lost their beds and have since been bunking down on floors and tables, officials said. So, just as an FYI, I don't know if you guys know this, but ships need maintenance. Ships need to be rearmed. Ships need to be, like, serviced. And because Donald Trump is just sending them from one conflict zone to another that he himself is starting without any preparation whatsoever, the ship is literally lighting on fire with uncontainable outbursts because the laundry is getting overloaded. The soldiers aren't able to sleep on fucking beds because they all burned up. And they aren't going to get any new beds anytime soon because they're deployed. Right? And so someone suggested it was on purpose to force the deployment to end. The issue is Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck if those soldiers have beds or not. Like, Donald Trump doesn't give a shit if they all have to poop off the side of the aircraft carrier. You know, like, if it was done deliberately to try and sabotage the ship and send it back home, like, you picked a terrible chain of command to try that with. Ryan Grimm reported that the Gerald Ford potty problems seem to be flushed t-shirts. They think a soldier started the fire. I mean, again, if that is the thinking, I don't think they understand how Donald Trump is going to really receive that. The Ford is on its way back? Oh, shit. Literally today. My God. Is moving away from operations tied to the Iran war, sailing to the U.S. Navy base in Crete for repairs. Okay, so they're going back to Crete. Oh, God. Okay, all the other ships in the strike group are remaining, though. Well, maybe it worked. I don't know. But it could be that that's just like the straw that broke the camel's back. If it was done on purpose, like, honestly, I you know what? I take back everything I said. I was wrong. Good plan. But I somehow doubt it was on purpose. Those guys need to go home. Oh my God, let them go home. Fucking everyone needs to go home from this conflict. Anyway, here's how seriously the GOP is taking all this.
China and Europe and others aren't.
If the Strait of Hormuz doesn't open, how are oil prices in the United States going to come down?
Well, it'll open eventually. I mean, eventually it's going to open. But in the meantime, we need to do what we're doing. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. They cannot have ballistic missiles. Right?
How long do you think it could be closed?
Take to make sure they don't have nuclear weapons. How long is it going to take to make sure they don't have ballistic missiles that can destroy Americans? They've been killing us for 47 years. This had to end at some point, and I don't want it on American soil. The president did the right thing. Do I want oil prices to come down? I want them to come down badly, just like everybody else. But I don't want to die, and I want people in this country to die of a nuclear weapon from Iran.
Again, literally no evidence that they have nuclear weapons. No evidence whatsoever. It's crazy that they managed to get an interview with the Crypt Keeper or an interview with Skeletor. Yeah. Like, it is crazy, right? Like, this is a guy who knows a thing or two about death. Am I right? Everything is so stupid. Everything is so stupid. Like, God, listen to this part from another part of this same interview.
Do you think the United States needs Europe's help, as the president has made the case today? Or he also moments later argued that they don't need their help?
Well, of course we don't need their help. We have the strongest military in the world.
But he's asking for their help.
Well, it's in their best interest. I mean,
we don't need their help. We have the strongest military in the world. But he's asking for their help. You couldn't write stuff like this in a movie because your editors would tell you it's too on the nose. All right? Like, we're just living through absolutely insane times. Like, also, can we just talk about this real quick? Like, fuck, guys. Newt Gingrich is over here saying that we should have thermonuclear detonations in the Strait of Hormuz. Saying instead of fighting over a 21-mile wide bottleneck forever, we cut a new channel through friendly territory. A dozen thermonuclear detonations and you've got a waterway wider than the Panama Canal, deeper than the Suez, and safe from Iranian attacks. Gingrich said on Sunday, appearing to quote a satirical Substack article which he linked in the Post. Everything is stupid. Everything is rapidly disintegrating into madness. Like, Newt Gingrich is saying this because he thought that a satire article was legit. This is the actual idea. Like, Newt Gingrich is not a nobody, guys. He has a lot of influence. He's the former Republican Speaker of the House. Was he always this insane? Yeah. How does throwing our troops at your problem help us at all? It doesn't. It's all so stupid. They're taking joke articles and thinking that they're real and trying to make that policy. I mean, guys.
But the fact is that the U.S. economy is fundamentally sound, and that if it were to be extended, it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all. It would hurt consumers, and we'd have to think about, if that continued, what we would have to do about that. But that's like really the last of our concerns right now, because we're very confident that this thing is going ahead of schedule.
Oh, that's so good. It's so good that Hassett is out there saying, like, oh yeah, it's not oil going to $200 a barrel isn't going to hurt the economy. It's just going to hurt consumers. Guys, it's just going to hurt consumers, and nothing that has ever hurt the spending power of consumers in a primarily consumption-based economy would ever harm the overall economy. Just go all in on that crypto. Go all in on that that AI tag. I promise the bottom isn't going to fall out of that. It'll keep us buoyed up forever. Oh my god. Like, I'm not going to lie, guys, as somebody whose job it is to like pay attention and cover the news, every single day that I open the news and like prepare a segment about stuff like this, I just feel like an abyss in my stomach. Like, this is all just horrible, and there is no adult in the room of these halls of power capable of putting their foot on the brake. No one is telling Donald Trump no. The people around Donald Trump are all nodding, like, just, yes, yes! Like, they're all full on, all about this. They love it. They love it. They think it makes Donald Trump look cool and good. And like, meanwhile, you have Iran over here. And Iran, in effect, has been able to continue exporting oil while all of this is happening, right? Because they control the Strait of Hormuz, and they have not fully mined the Strait of Hormuz. So there are some countries, according to Al Jazeera, that are getting oil exports from Iran right now. One being China, another being Pakistan, another being Turkey. All right? Like, there are a number of different countries that are still getting exports of oil from Iran, but essentially any country allied with the United States is having their oil exports throttled by Iran. And like, we haven't even opened the can of worms that is Pakistan bombing Afghanistan. Like, they're just a horrible bomb strike the other day from Pakistan to Afghanistan that killed like over 500 people. I believe it just awful shit. Awful shit is going. Yeah, like, also, guys, you should be aware. Again, there's a lot of conflict spreading across the region, okay? That's huge. It is huge. What? OMG, why? Because Afghanistan has a group of, hosts a group of people who are deemed terrorists by the Pakistani government. All right? There was some potential good movement here in that they paused their bombs.
Water, oil, room service.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. But Pakistan did pause their airstrikes for Eid, my bad. Like, the conflict between Pakistan and Afghanistan has like displaced 40,000 people. Like, it is all like the entire region of the world is spiraling out of control. But basically, Pakistan is upset at a splinter group of the Taliban in Afghanistan called the Pakistani Taliban. Creative name. yeah, they're trying to strike at that group, but also hitting other targets in Afghanistan, and threatens to spiral out of control. So that's also happening there. That's not great. Well, the Pakistani Taliban is a group that has staged terrorist attacks in Pakistan, and so like there's kind of a retaliation going on from Pakistan to the Pakistani Taliban. And the Pakistani Taliban is not a formal part of the Taliban government of Afghanistan. It's a whole thing. We're getting a bit sidetracked here, but it's worth noting that this region of the world is becoming increasingly unhinged, largely due to the interventionism of the settler colonial United States
So
government.
much has happened in the last year, it's so insane.
It really, really is. I did a double take earlier today when my partner talked about the inauguration being last year. It's felt so long. So long. Also, Nightlight Plushy Jesus, thank you for subscribing and being subscribed for a whole year. And Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs as well. Thank you all for supporting the show. Long year. Also, hey, fun stuff. Here you go. Donald Trump is yet again threatening to hit Karg Island and its civilian infrastructure, the oil infrastructure. What happens when Iran gets even more desperate and starts striking all of the other oil and natural gas areas of the Middle East? They're more than capable of it. What's Karg Island?
To think of the world we could have had by bowing out of the whole oil market and leading the Green Revolution in the 70s.
God, like even if we didn't lead the Green Revolution in the 70s, if we had just led the Green New Deal like 8 years ago, if we'd just like taken a different path and massively invested in green energy just less than a decade ago, we could have avoided all this shit. What's Karg Island? Karg Island is like one of the biggest points of oil exporting in Iran. It's a small island that handles a great deal of like oil distribution. It's essentially the main shipping hub for oil and natural gas out of Iran. And if it gets hit, or if the United States, as it seems is more likely, deploys Marines to seize Karg Island, things are going to get really bad really quickly. And it's already quite bad.
The 4 words of the apocalypse. It was her turn.
Followed by the 3 words of Armageddon. But her emails. Oh, God. Yep. He is talking in just an interview. I'm going to knock the hell out of it. Because again, like, Donald Trump barely knows what is happening right now. Like, again, to really hammer home here, like, what is going on. Worth noting, Chris Murphy is out here pointing out that Iran has deployed suicide skiffs that are disguised as fishing boats in the Strait of Hormuz to enable, like, their ability to just blow up any of these tankers that they might need to. Like, there's not a way for the United States to really lock any of this down, you know? Like, even if they started escorting ships through, like, no ship is going to want to take that risk.
Buttery mails.
The 2 words. The 2 words of the Antichrist. Buttery mails. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. It's so frustrating, guys. Also, can we just take a quick look at this image of Donald Trump from a couple days ago? I think this was on board Air Force One. But, like, my dude did not get his makeup done, and he looks like a shade that has come from Ebenezer Scrooge's past to warn him of his transgressions and of the chains he forged in life that will bind him in death. You know, like, he fucking looks like the fucking Muppet ghosts from A Muppet Christmas Carol, you know? Like, he's gone, guys. Like, any of these people who are like, oh, but he's such a Chad, like, they're fucking drinking some Delulu juice, okay? It's crazy. He looks like that guy who chose poorly at the end of The Last Crusade. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Also, can I just... Why Trump's Karg Island attacks could make the oil crisis worse. Well, you know, if you destroy their ability to ship 90% of their oil out of the country, like, yeah, they're going to retaliate against the entire region.
It's crazy how the two record temps in the US are 2 years apart and are minus 109 and 109.
Whoa. I would have thought it was... No, I can't do it. I'm too old. I was going to make a 6-7 joke. I can't do it. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Very much appreciated. It's all so stupid and bad. It's all so stupid and bad.
Hey, yes, please. CNN. Hey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not CNN, I'm Daily Wire, but thank you for the question.
Much love to you all. Thank you, Jack, for the awesome stream.
Stop this stupidity. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Very much appreciate the support. I'm sorry, did this reporter say that she was Daily Wire?
And I'm not CNN, I'm Daily Wire, but...
The Daily Wire is now in the White House press pool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hi, yes, correspondent from the local clown college, here to do an accurate report of your current geopolitical actions, honk honk.
Thank you for the question. Numerous countries have told me they are on their way. Can you give us a hint what they are, what that entails, how soon they might be there?
You mean who are the countries?
Yes, sir.
I'd rather not say yet, but we'll be announcing Marco Rubio and the various people that are doing that will be announcing. And I have to tell you, we have some that are really enthusiastic. They're coming already. They've already started to get there. You know, it takes a little while to get there. It's like, in some cases, you have to travel an ocean. So it doesn't go that fast, but it'll go fast. And we have...
It's all so stupid. It's all so stupid. He's just like, oh yeah, no, other countries were thrilled to send their navies over to the Strait of Hormuz. Other countries famously love deploying their navies because another country that they're allied with fucked everything up in the region. People love sending their navies to bail other countries out of their geopolitical disasters. People love it. They love it, you know? Can't get enough of it. And also, the idea here, oh, all these countries are deploying, they're all deploying their ships, but it'll take time, so, like, I can't tell you which ones exactly. We're gonna tell you which ones are coming. Don't you worry. You just hang tight. You hang tight. We're going to tell you which countries are coming. And let's just take a quick look at some of the countries that have been asked so far. You've got, France, not coming. Okay, you've got the UK. Oh, they rejected it. Italy, they've also rejected it. Spain, also rejected it. Japan, also rejected. Norway, rejected. Canada, rejected. Australia, rejected. Germany, rejected. And as like a little bit of salt in the wound here, China just didn't give a response, and the Netherlands also gave no response, and South Korea is basically just leaving Donald Trump on red. So, yeah, this whole, oh, they're definitely coming. No, they're not. Other countries do not want to commit their navies to escorting oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. Obviously, they don't want to do that. The European Union even just straight up said, this isn't Europe's war. Essentially, y'all are on your own. Like, no one wants to help the United States do this because it's stupid as hell. The United States has caused a global catastrophe. And Donald Trump and like his advisors don't even seem to really realize it yet. The United States elected officials in Congress don't really seem to realize it yet. A lot of people are like kind of angry about it, but like they aren't screaming off the rooftops about it. Like, this should be done already. how the fuck are we supposed to stop this? Unfortunately, like, to make it very clear, the only off-ramp that I am aware of is the only two off-ramps, I should say, that I am aware of is one, full-on ground invasion of Iran, which isn't going to happen because it's not because, conservatives don't want to do that, but because it is, frankly, far too expensive and this war is already far too unpopular for them to get away with it. Not to mention, personally, obviously, I think it's evil as fuck to do. The only other way out of this is to fully pull out American forces and, like, pay reparations to Iran, which I also don't think the United States is going to do. And so what we're kind of left with is, like, a situation where Donald Trump has backed himself into a corner where he can't back down. And Iran, until the United States leaves, is not going to come to the negotiating table, because right now, the people who govern Iran are saying, under no circumstances are we coming to the negotiating table with you right now. Because, and I've been saying this a lot in my coverage here, but when you're talking about a war, both sides get a vote on whether or not the war is done. And that is a big problem, because in this case, Donald Trump unilaterally started that war. You don't get to unilaterally end a war, right? And so Iran, whether Donald Trump wants to get out of this or not, Iran is not providing an off-ramp here. Because Iran needs to reestablish deterrence by making sure this is painful. And it is painful not just to, like, U.S. military, but to, like, U.S. civilians, to folks economically. And they don't have to even do any kind of attack on American soil. All they have to do is make oil and natural gas so expensive that Americans start feeling the economic pain of this. Because they have intuited and strategized correctly that when that pain starts being felt, whether it's by American civilians or international companies or various other geopolitical entities, the blame is not going to fall on Iran. The blame is going to fall on Donald Trump and the United States. Like, that's kind of where we're at. So there's just not an off-ramp here. And it's that's one of the scariest parts of all of this. Part of what makes me really worried is the fact that Donald Trump only has one button, which is to double, triple, and quadruple down, to continue to make threats, to continue to bomb, to continue to attack. And no amount of bombing or attacking is going to stop Iran from having the capacity to throttle international oil shipping. And so, like, I'm not entirely sure where this goes, except into deeper and deeper quagmire and deeper suffering. And, like, nobody wins in this situation. The off-ramp is impeach and remove Trump. It's not even, like, that isn't even the off-ramp, Because part of the problem is it's not just a Trump problem. The entire GOP is also complicit with what is happening, right? And so, like, you can impeach and convict Donald Trump, but anyone who comes after him down the line of succession is going to also be inheriting this problem. And even if you get rid of Donald Trump, and even if you remove all U.S. forces from the region, Iran still gets a vote on how it responds. They get to vote on whether or not they continue throttling the Strait of Hormuz. It's possible that Iran might be gracious enough to grant an off-ramp should, like, Democrats take control of Congress in both the House and the Senate, and then impeach and convict Donald Trump. But that is a long shot at best, and also I can practically guarantee that Iran is not going to just be like, okay, Donald Trump's gone? We're all done now. Like, I don't think that's what they're gonna do. The Democrats don't seem to be much better either. If this doesn't get stopped, I can see it being another forever war. Yeah, and that is kind of the other thing, right? The good, I guess the one piece of potential off-ramp that I see is, again, running out of munitions. Running out of the munition stockpile. And so that could be another way that this goes, where like the military just runs out of interceptors and either starts taking a bunch of damage or moves these $1 trillion of assets out of the region, and formally declares like, oh, we're done, mission accomplished, and they go home. And Iran might still continue to block the Strait of Hormuz for some time, but it might just be the logistical consideration of interceptors that stops what is happening here. So those are kind of all the things here. That immunity clause will keep him from being jailed. I don't think that it keeps him from being jailed if he's convicted by the Senate. Like I don't think an impeachment and conviction by the Senate is stopped by the Supreme Court ruling. So all of that being said, we're in a particularly bad time here. Oh yeah, also you know that Donald Trump is mad and is losing the PR war on this war when he's accusing anyone who criticizes him or has at less than glowing dick-sucking praise for him in the media is committing treason. So, hey, I guess I'm committing treason according to Donald Trump.
I wonder if OPEC will artificially spike the price of oil globally to try and stem this.
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a lot of crazy shit going on with oil internationally, And also worth noting that yesterday, South Korea's president warned that a worst-case scenario for global energy must be considered, which essentially is that in his worst-case scenario, like South Korea limits any kind of energy exports and focuses on a mass overhaul of their system in order to embrace green energy. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs, and Solid as Snake 69, thank you for the 5 gifted subs over on Twitch. Very much appreciated, folks. Thank you so much for supporting the show. So, yeah, we're literally in a situation right now. Just to hammer, I think South Korea is like kind of a canary in the coal mine situation here, where they're going to hit their worst case scenario with this much faster than a lot of other countries are going to. Out of necessity, they're going to have to embrace the mass manufacture of clean energy generation and like clean energy vehicles, etc. I wanted a faster transition to green energy, but not like this. Yeah, I mean, like it is the one potential silver lining here. Like we've been ramping up our consumption of fossil fuels for quite some time, and this might be an off-ramp from that. So if you need a silver lining to any of this, it could be that this is what globally sparks the transition to green energy, but we'll see. We'll see. Trump's accelerationism sucks, but hopefully this is a silver lining. I mean, it's not even accelerationism. Trump is just... I mean, I guess it could technically be considered, accelerationism, except that Donald Trump, it's accidental accelerationism, Oh, God. Yeah, some days it feels like months and years passed, centuries take place. I swear if this is how Trump ends global warming, I mean, Trump won't be the person who ends global warming. Let's put it that way. Yeah, who would have thought that the Green New Deal would have been with Iran? Huh. Cuba's next. I mean, Donald Trump wants to fight Iran and Cuba at the same time. It's all just fucking nonsense clown world bullshit. But we're here. We're in the middle of all this, and it all sucks. And really, the only way we as common working class people get out of this, the only way that we get, the only way that we get out of having to eat a buffet of shit, as Masterification says in YouTube chat, the only way we get out of that is by organizing. We need folks to organize. We need people to get organized on the local level and build power until we're operating not just on the local level, but on the state level, okay? Because we need to organize here to build a coalition of people who stand against these stupid bullshit wars of imperialism to literally no end, you know? We need people who are in power who are going to uplift working class people, make sure people have food on the table, make sure people have a roof over their heads, make sure people have health care, and we need people to get involved now. Like, if you want to impact, like, your general election in 2 years, you got to start right now in your local area, okay? Again, No Kings is happening on March 28th. There's a lot of stuff going on here, folks. And so I just want y'all to know, get involved now. Join your local Dems, join your local DSA. And folks, if you don't know how to do it, don't know where to start, hey, you can join our Discord. You can reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. You can reach out to GamerG for help with your local DSA. We need folks to make your local Dems more progressive. We need folks to make your local DSA more effective. That's kind of to boil everything down. That's what we need folks to do. And it starts with each and every one of us rolling up our sleeves and getting to fucking work. So get to fucking work. And all that being said, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Comments longer than 8 words really help in the algorithm. And also check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Tested also with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It's super comfortable. It is sexy. I'm wearing it right now, actually. It's great. And check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com. Link should be down in the description. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, being and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.